All right, y'all. 1 second. Welcome. I'm kind of running a little behind. Helping the wife out doing some stuff. Picking up some stuff around the house before getting started, that kind of thing. So give me a couple seconds. I'll be right back. All right, chat. Welcome. Welcome to the AstroPub. Welcome to the office hours. To throw down in a quick shower. Good morning, Stanton. It's me, Scooter. Coming you from the beautiful... I can't do the full thing. Rio's Breakyard here on Damer. Alright, here we go. Hello, my name is Paul. This is the AstroPub. Your space bar at the end of the universe. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We got a good one for you. Alright. Did I get my plane ticket? I have not been able to get my plane ticket because my wife has to make a decision. We have enough money so that Cam can go, but she may not be able to have enough time to take off yet. So I'm waiting for her to make the decision before we take a flight. So, the second she gives me the heads up, the A-OK, I'll get started. So. So the latest I'll buy them is the 15th. Thank you. Yeah, so 2 weeks maximum. What changed your mind to going to CitizenCon? Basically, the reason why I couldn't go to CitizenCon wasn't because I didn't want to go. It's because I didn't have the money to go. And enough people kept messaging me, like, behind the scenes. Not CIG developers or anything like that, but other like members of the community who've been around for a while, who were like, "You gotta go, you gotta go, you just have to go. This is the year, you have to go." And I was like, "Fine," but it's gonna be entirely up to the community if I go or not, because I don't have the money. So SitCon tickets aren't all gone now. Not that I last saw. They might be shortly. They're pretty close. Yeah, not necessarily peer pressure. Like I said, it wasn't like I didn't want to go. It's just I didn't have the money to go. So I just said, I will do it, but it's entirely up to the community. I'm not always like comfortable with telling people, "Hey, give me money so I can go on a trip." That's not something you usually do. No, it's still available. Still available. Still at it. The premium tickets are gone, but the regular tickets are there. And before anyone goes, "But the premium tickets are better," I have no reason. There's no reason why you'd buy a premium ticket. Like, you don't really get anything from it. In the previous, you got a like a nice little like gala sort of like ticket to go into this studio and stuff. You have to buy the gala separately. What makes it premium? A bevy of in-game items, limited autograph keepsake,
Midnight Black SC just gifted 5 subs.
Hey, if you're gifting those 5 subs there, Midnight Black, you're a very important pub, very impressive, Mr. Rainy pedestrian. This is your fault. You reason aren't drinking night. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Let's see what's going on here. Put that down. All right. Still called out, but fair. It's the problem is that I don't know if you're going to get an additional $100 worth out of that ticket. I'm sure it's nice because it's like you get access to an exclusive lounge, you get access to priority lanes, you get discounts on merchandise. So I'm sure if you take the full advantage of it, it'll be okay. But like, you have to take full advantage of it. NASA. I got it from at NASA, boy. That's where I got it. Feel called out, but fair. All about the other ones. How's Cam's book doing? We don't have a full understanding yet. The one thing that we are waiting for is reviews. So if you have bought Cam's book and you've read the book, please do leave a review on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. It does help us out a lot. It helps her out a lot because right now it doesn't get recommended to anybody until it gets a certain number of reviews. I think it needs like 50 reviews. So, and Cam is not the kind of person to push people into doing things, and she doesn't have the kind of reach I do. So, please do leave a review if you've purchased it. Hey Paul, what happened to the new helmet you got since you didn't think the old helmet would survive CitizenCon? I didn't buy a new helmet. I still use the old helmet. It really isn't surviving. It's gonna survive till this CitizenCon, and that'll be it. I'll get one later though. Any idea if we'll get we'll have?
InstaShinobi just had a space baby. Pub Pipe, thanks for your awesome stream and lore posts.
Thank you so much for that 9 months of support there, InstaShinobi. You're very important, but we're very impressed with any pedestrian. This is your fault. The reason I'm drinking that. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. How well mannered? I am not well mannered. I am a son of a bitch. People come in and think I'm super well mannered because I wear a suit and tie, but I swear like a sailor. I'll try to be eloquent. But, like, there have been more than a few people who hate me because they think I'm some sort of smug asshole for doing any of this stuff, so. But thank you for that, Historic Coder. I love the content and how well-mannered you are. I have an oddly specific question. What do you think the likelihood is of CIG releasing subcapital capital size ship with more forward-facing firepower and less defensive turrets with a larger hangar capacity? I don't know. I do my best to try to treat everybody with respect. I mean, I am a smug asshole. Gin and tonic, I am. But, like, not any more than anybody else is. So, if you're asking if we're going to get a big guns and more hangar space subcap ship, no. I do think we might get individual subcaps that are like that. It seems like CIG has discovered that the sweet spot for cruise ships is between 1 and 10, with the middle range between 4 and 8 being the absolute perfect range for crew. 4 people being the perfect. And if you look at CIG's design philosophy up to this point, everything is based around a group of 4 people. So 4 people seems to be their balancing mechanic, is like every single thing in Star Citizen is designed for 4 people to do. Now, that's obviously going to change as CIG develops more, but that's their core sort of experience. So That's one of the reasons why they seem to be pulling away from capital ship development. A, it takes a long time to do and adds to the backlog and requires some experience to do it. But the other thing is that it's huge. You have to build gameplay for it in order for it to matter. So. Perseus is a hammerhead or smaller. Yeah, Perseus is smaller, and hammerhead. They're both about the same size. So if we're talking about that size, I do think we'll get more of those ships. I do think we'll get a version of that sort of ship that'll just be a carrier. We kind of do with the what is it called? The Liberator, I think is that sort of thing. But I also think we're going to get more variety in that space, for sure. Leave them biddies there.
Them biddies.
Oh yes, a party of 4 with your cleric, fighting man, magic user, and thief. Gold's the gold number for game. 4 is the gold number for games. Yes, I mean there's a reason for it, because 4 is the perfect number for people for not being too chaotic, but also giving people enough kind of to feel like they're contributing. So. So with that crew size, it sounds like you're a Redeemer fan, Paul. I'm a fan of the idea of the Redeemer, just not the ship itself. The idea of a 4-person gunship is great. We had 2. One which was better than the Redeemer, but and the other one which was, in my opinion, much better, which is the Brutus. The Brutus, which got 3rd place in that competition, was perfect. It's a Drake gunship, which fits the aesthetic of Drake, fits the kind of design of Drake, and was basically like a Buccaneer but big. It was like if you took the Buccaneer and you took a Hind D and you made them make babies, and it was perfect. Was it Drake? Yeah, it was Drake, yeah. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that thing. This is the Drake Brutus, which was a fan ship, which was for a competition that the Redeemer actually won. So when I say I hate the Redeemer, it's because this ship got passed over for that. It's an angry cutlass, which is why it's perfect. Into beds. Yep, that's what it is. The Redeemer had better marketing. Toilet. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the boom slang, but it was better than the Redeemer. I'm gonna pull this back a little bit. And I'm gonna put the better music on here, the music that should be here. Get a good one here. There we go, baby. Fucking yes, baby. So that was a Drake ship, but it's not an actual Drake ship. This was the Drake Interplanetary Brutus Mark II. This was the third place winner for the best in, or not best in show, what is it called? The Next Great Starship. The top ones were the Redeemer, the Aegis Redeemer, the Origin Boomslang, and the Drake Brutus. It should have won. It should have fucking won. But everyone said, "Oh, that's Starfield vibes." This thing was made 9 fucking years ago. 9 years. I don't remember what number 4 was. And a lot of people was like, "Well, this looks great." It's like, you don't understand. They did fully voice acted trailer. They had animations working with the Redeemer. It was all faked, but like they had it like flying around and fighting things with 3D animation. This was back when like most of the, I don't even think we had the fucking dogfight module done yet. I'll pull up the boom slang.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers. But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Iris Dread Tide just resubscribed for 16 months.
Thanks for that 16 months of support there, Iris. You're a very important part. We're very impressed by surveying pedestrian. This is your fault. The reason I'm drinking that. Shots and cheers and chat. Awesome cheers. And you know who chose? Let me see if I can find a boom slang in here. Not finding any. Oh, yeah, here's the. We actually had the boom slang in our hangar so we could see them, but this is what the boom slang looked like. Old hangar, baby. The origin boom slang. It effectively was kind of a less ugly Redeemer. Was it the head of CIG's ship department was, I believe, number 4 in the spec. That not John Crew, but like the U.S. like North America team, the ship team in North America. Elwyn started because they were competing in a competition, and got 4th place. All of the top 4 teams ended up getting hired by CIG. I think the team that made the Redeemer ended up quitting CIG shortly after because they didn't really want to work there, and the team that did the Brutus, the Shimmy Pan, they were working for CIG for a long time, but I don't think they work there anymore. I think the only person who still works there from those times is Elwyn. Is X here? Hey. Hey, X. Yeah. I think CIG could revisit the Brutus. I think they could revisit the Brutus, do a Drake version of the Redeemer, because Drake loves to do that. And the Drake version of the Redeemer shouldn't be called the Brutus, though. It should be called the Lobster Mark II. The Lobster Mark II. Because it's already in lore, and it's fucking funny. And I guarantee you, people will buy a ship called the Drake Lobster that's a gunship like, they won't even care. They'll just buy it. You price it decently, you price it below the Redeemer, people will fucking, like, wall it here. Oh yeah, I got you, Wumlisimo. Wumlisimo, if you're still in chat, I will get to you. I'll get it to you ASAP. I don't have the ability right now to that. Yeah. Silas Kerner. That's where we get the name for the Drake Lobster. Is from the it's from an offhanded reference from Silas Kerner. I already bought it. It doesn't even exist. I even have the tagline, "Deep Voice Man." This galaxy is this is a lawless verse out here. Sometimes the only thing that gets between you and an early grave is a good crew, good planning, good crew, and a good ship. We can, you know, we at Drake would like to offer you that good ship, presenting you the 2954 Drake Lobster Mark II. Because when you mess with this crustacean, you're gonna get the claws. Power to the people. All with this music in the background. Over-exaggerated ship firing and blowing stuff up. And you wouldn't call it the Drake Lobster Mark II. You call it the Rock Lobster or something like that. Find a good name for a lot. Let me find a good mean name for a lobster. Just call it the Jerry. Rock Lobster, yeah.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space
Call it the
suit.
mantis shrimp. Yeah.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No views.
But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Adam_Clays_Ash4 has subscribed.
Hey. Kayla's Ash4, thanks so much for that. For the Twitch Prime sub, you're very important, Papa. Very impressive, Mr. Any pedestrian. This is your fault. You're trying to drink it. Trust and cheers and chat, y'all. Trust and cheers. Oh, I gotta end the goal.
You can take away my spaceship.
Spaceship.
You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No pew-pews.
But you can never,
Never.
ever
Ever.
take away my space game.
G Sharp just resubscribed for 62 months.
62 months there, G Sharp. You are very important, Papa. Very impressive, Mr. Very pedestrian. This is your fault. The return drinking night. Shots and cheers and chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. I know the name though. The name that Drake could use that would fit with the lobster theme, which is the Drake chitin. Drake chitin gunship. The like exoskeletons, like chitin. I can't remember how you pronounce it though, but yeah. Drake snip snip. Yeah. We can do barnacle. Not chitin, the chitin. You know, like the chitin, which is like the exterior of a ship. Jake Bisk. You don't want to say man of war though. You don't need a man of war, yeah. Chitin, chitin. I was gonna say man of war, but that doesn't work. The Drake Dreadnought. Person of not peace. Well, man of war is I think it's a little too awkward. Like, I hate their expanse because it's a weird name. But like, not all Drake ships are named after nautical things, because you've got the Caterpillar and the Dragonfly. And the Herald, yeah. So the Herald's kind of in that sort of thing. And the Cult. The Drake Galleon would be a transport ship of some kind. The Endeavor. That's Misk. The Drake Dung Beetle. That's the name of the mule.
Them biddies.
You are a transport ship of some kind.
I am. I'm a transport ship of useless information and diseases. Chitin. Yeah. Chitin versus Chiton. Yeah, chitin. Boatswain. Boatswain. Drake Baked Beans. I mean, the other one that I could think of is Ironside. The Drake Ironside gunship. All one word, Ironside. But I think they could revisit that. Ironclad, yeah. Drake Victory, yeah. You think Ironclad is better than Ironside? If you call it the Drake Burnside, people will just call it the Sideburns. The Monitor could be good, because that's also sort of like a nautical thing. It's it's a nice tip, little, we know what you're doing. But also monitor rays and stuff like that, so. The Iron Duke. Yeah, that's the reason why I said Ironsides, because the Ironsides is the name of the USS Constitution. It's a nickname for the U.S. Constitution, so. I can also see the Drake Leadbelly would be funny. But yeah. Like I said, CIG is in that range of they're making ships in that range for like their upper limit is like the kind of Corvette style. And I can see like a large / Corvette Drake ship that fits that sort of that Drake aesthetic, but a gunship style. The Drake Lead Belcher, yes. They are the ogres of Star Citizen universe. Oh, Drake Interstellar Unicorn. That's true. They haven't used dragon yet. The Drake Dragon would be kind of cool. That's kind of like saying the Dragon. Ooh, the Drake Wyvern. It goes some mythical stuff. Anyway, let's watch the video. Ooh, the Drake Manticore would be good too. Isn't there a Manticore already in game though?
.23 is just around the corner. Alpha 323 is just around the corner, and that means it's time for Patch Dispatch 323, where we run down all the new features and content included in what could be Star Citizen's biggest patch yet. So let's just jump right into things. And we'll start with life in the first person. And in 323, life begins with a newly expanded and revamped character customizer, letting you create more dynamic and representative avatars than ever before. A new beginning that will continue to evolve with additional features and options in subsequent patches. Now let's discuss all the major improvements that directly affect your character, starting with the new Mobi-Glass. Now, unlike Eobard Thawne, we've finally killed the Flash, as the new Mobi-Glass finally makes its in-universe debut with a
I get that reference.
revamped layout and new features like the health and contract manager apps to help you stay alive and find work respectively. It also includes the long-awaited and hotly anticipated new Maps app, combining the new star map and interior map experiences into one unified interface, with an entire host of new functionalities designed to help you find your way through landing zones, space stations, and the entire verse as a whole. Oh, and that work also touches the new lens and visor updates with a great new mini-map that appears now in the upper left corner. Your days of not finding your way around are soon behind you. Unless you're a specific person who won't be named. You know who you are.
You don't have to call me out like that, Jake. Disco. Jared, you don't have to call me out like that. It was a one-time thing.
Of course, when you're traveling through the verse, Alpha 323 has a whole new array of improvements to how you'll interact with the world around you, starting with a revamped player interaction system that's more nimble and customizable than ever before. Default item actions that let you keep your customizations exactly how you want them. A new shopping interface that streamlines the experience so you can get what you want and go. And new looting screens to improve your alternate and more violent shopping experience.
They're called relic requisitions, okay? We're saving them from being destroyed by time and abuse, Jared, okay? They belong in a museum. They just happen to be very, very violent about it, so we have to deal with the problem.
And speaking of which, there's lots of new improvements to the way you
Gunboat
bring
archaeology.
first-person murder, death, kill to your fellow citizens in the verse, including scope magnification updates, ammo repooling and backpack reloading, ADS tuning, and the new dynamic crosshair on specialized helmets so you can fire straight from the hip in-game, and not just from the comfort of your YouTube comments.
He's calling you out, chat. He's calling you out. Can't believe they're still yapping about UI and stuff. I mean, that's what this patch is about. It's not even fully released yet. This is Twitch. Yeah, I am also streaming to YouTube.
And your first-person life doesn't end there, because Alpha 323 allows you to take the fight to zero-G with the newly revamped EVA mechanics, changing the way you traverse the verse outside your spacecraft and vehicle. And speaking of your spacecraft or vehicles, the Alpha 323 season also includes new ways to house, load, and launch your ships with the new personal persistent hangars.
All right. I want to say something stupid. It's going to get me in trouble. So I'm going to do it anyways. I hate that. I get what he's doing. And I know why they're doing it. Because it's still part of 3.23. And it will come out at some point. But it's the reason why so many people feel like really bitter about Star Citizen and Star Citizen like marketing is stuff like that. Where like, you didn't have to add that in there. You could just say, after everything's gone through, say, by the way, and shortly after this, these are coming in later. But the way it's structured, it's... And whenever I do or say something like this, I usually get somebody who's just like, well, you have to understand from, like, I get it, I understand, but you also have to understand that, like, there's the reason why people do these things. And because CIG keeps handing them ammo. When it's like a couple tweaks here or there with like one pass could have gone over and been like, reorganize it a little bit, change it around a little bit. But like, that's one of the reasons why, like the people who are going to be mad are always going to find reasons to be mad. That's not going to change it. Like, that's going to happen no matter what. But then it doesn't mean just say, fuck it. You can limit the amount of damage that does to the point where it's just like, those people look unreasonable. And that's just like an editing switch. Like putting this at the end rather than the beginning or in the middle right here would have been great. Oh, why is it saying a giveaway? They're not doing that giveaway. 100% turn that off. I didn't turn that off because giveaway. Giveaway. There you go.
Coming to ArcCorp, Hurston, Microtech, and Horizon in a 323X patch this quarter.
I mean, everyone messes up. To err is to be human. It's just like a tiny little change here in the order. What I think would have reduced some of the problems, because at that point people go, well, they put it in the thing, and it's like, yeah, they had Jared talking in between these sections saying, and this is going to come in later down the later patch in this family of patches, and then showed these off and did that. That little swap over is enough to like for people to be like, you're an idiot. I'm sorry that you lack media awareness, that you can't understand what a cut and a talk is, but
which also includes item banks to.
No, I agree. I think a lot of it is they did this before they fully had the whole picture, and they're just kind of using what they have because they only have so much time, and these things take a while. I can guarantee you that this was not edited today. As somebody who edits videos, and they're not nearly as complex as this was edited weeks ago.
To grab your stuff, vehicle platforms to raise your ships, and freight elevators to load them before takeoff. Of course, once you take off, you'll find a new way to fly with master modes and a new way to fight with precision targeting and weapon mount and gimbal changes, meaning space combat's got its next evolution in Alpha 323. But what if flying in the PU isn't enough? Or you simply want a safe place to practice the changes? Well, there's a whole host of new maps and experimental modes in Arena Commander 323 that we covered here in detail just last week. Then back in the Precision Universe and down planet side, You'll find the new distribution centers with a variety of mission and gameplay opportunities for all manner of playstyles, and the added dangers of the American Copian, Star Citizen's first fauna being added to Alpha 323. And how are the Merrics dangerous? Just wait until they add poop mechanics. Then there's also
I'm
exciting
There's something weird that you can see here.
mechanics. Find the new distribution and the added dangers of the American Copian, Star Citizen's first fauna being added to Alpha 323.
Look behind
How are
Jimothy,
the Merrics
right
dangerous?
here.
Just wait
What is that?
until they add poop mechanics.
See that? See that moving? The fuck is that?
And how are the Merrics dangerous? Just wait.
Maybe it's just Kate, but it's just weirdly. It looks like it's dragging behind.
Add poop mechanics.
Looks like it's a creature of some kind. Does Jim have a tail?
Then there's also exciting new technological improvements like our initial implementation of Vulkan, new DLSS, FSR, TSR upscaling, and the new water rendering and simulation tech that will make Star Citizen look even better than ever before. And then under the hood, with the new replication layer split in 323, players no longer connect directly to the game servers and instead to the hybrid service, which hosts the replication layer, which then itself maintains the state of the game. This now means that the loss of a server can be recovered from without the players being disconnected from the game or losing their progress, and sets the stage for multiple game servers sharing a single hybrid replication layer in the server mesh coming online with Alpha 4.0. So all in all, there's more things in Alpha 323 than you can shake a stick at, but there's actually even more, as this branch not only includes all the hangar and cargo improvements we discussed earlier, it also contains the next iteration of Invictus Launch Week, which is actually 2 weeks because we're all super extra here. And we'll introduce a handful of new ships and vehicles folks have been waiting for, as well as one straight to flyable that's available.
I disagree on this one. This one right here. Listen closely as they talk.
This now means that the loss of a server can be recovered from without the players being disconnected from the game or losing their progress, and sets the stage for multiple game servers sharing a single.
You can hear the tick 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 in the background as well. Like, and they have it here. That's fine. Like, I don't think that's disingenuous. It's you know, you can see it down there. It's like, oh, it's neat, but.
Single hybrid replication layer in the server mesh coming online with Alpha 4.0. So all in all, there's more things in Alpha 323 than you can shake a stick at, but there's actually even more, as this branch not only includes all the hangar and cargo improvements we discussed earlier, it also contains the next iteration of Invictus Launch Week, which is actually 2 weeks because we're all super extra here. And we'll introduce a handful of new ships and vehicles folks have been waiting for, as well as one straight to flyable that's available with 323 launch. So let's learn more from John, Ben, and Alberto.
I don't want to nitpick, but this is also jumbled.
Of new ships and vehicles folks have been waiting for, as well as one 3 than you can shake a stick at. Mesh coming online with Alpha 4.0. So all in all, there's more things in Alpha 323 than you can shake a stick at.
This is fine.
But there's actually even more, as this branch not only includes all the hangar and cargo improvements we discussed earlier.
What? This branch? Oh, this branch. Are you saying that can be? It still sounds like Double Down, but
it also contains the next iteration of Invictus Launch Week, which is actually 2 weeks because we're all super extra here. And we'll introduce a handful of new ships and vehicles folks have been waiting for, as well as one straight-to-flyable that's available with 323 launch.
Okay.
So let's learn more from John, Ben, and Alberto.
I'm gonna defend the Mirai. Hold on. I'm gonna defend the shit out of this shit. I know people are pissed off at it. I'm gonna defend the shit out of it.
The Mirai Pulse is Mirai's entry into the ground gravlev bike category.
Is a new racing vehicle from Mirai.
Ben!
It kind of builds on.
I hate and love this man. Ben is was the art director for the Redeemer. Ben. And when I asked Ben what his favorite ship to work on was, he said, it's one I'm already working on. Now I've got to ask him if I see him again. Was it the Pulse?
Some of their kind of core values as a brand of MISC, focusing more on performance. It takes a lot of inspiration,
Okay, first off,
should we say, from the Razor, and really.
All right, let's back this up. First off, look at this thing. Look at this thing. This thing screams crotch rocket. Like this looks like it got pulled straight from a fucking anime. Do not tell me this thing is not fucking on brand. This thing looks like it came from an anime from the 80s. All right? Do not tell me that is not what that looks like. So first off, the aesthetics, wow, perfect. Nailed it.
It takes a lot of inspiration, should we say, from the Razor, and really kind of shrinks that kind of thrill speed down.
So the role of gravlev vehicles in the game,
Needs to be read. There is a red. Hold on.
especially hover bikes, it allows you to, you've got a mission in mind, perhaps you don't want to risk bringing your ship or larger vehicle right up to it. It allows you to park.
I would say it also very fits the Capsule Corp sort of identifier from Dragon Ball. It has some of that chunky mecha sort of style from the 80s, like Votans or that sort of kind of aesthetic. With especially with the hover, that's very kind of similar.
Some distance away, out of radar range, out of line of sight, and then infiltrate stealthily, speedily towards the target location. And of course, as
it's getting a bespoke
features like
size too.
weather comes online and more diverse and hazardous biomes such as heavily dense forests, graveler vehicles, bikes will become more useful as ways to get closer to your target without.
And that's the thing that's important to remember, is that the reason why we have ground vehicles is that CIG is going to crowbar them into the game. Now, as much as that is like, oh, well, that's weird because you should be able, doesn't matter gameplay. Doesn't matter gameplay. It doesn't matter because you need a fucking game to play. And they got ground vehicles, so why the fuck not? That's the answer. So like your realism is abandoned for Star Citizen gameplay, which is fine. It's a video game. They'll make a reason for it, and that reason might be flimsy, or it might be really cool. It might be interesting. Who knows? But it doesn't matter. Gameplay.
Damaging ships. The Pulse is our smallest ground vehicle. It was a intentional design choice to make something as
See, red.
small and compact and as fast as possible. And Mirai as a brand sort of fits that performance ideology.
It needs to be small. It needs to be small, fast, agile, and really that just kind of gives us a much greater opportunity of how the players can really experience.
Look how small that is. Hold on. It is half the size of a fucking PTV. You could fit one of these in the back of an Ursa. Yeah, apparently, yes, it fits inside an two SCU box. So one of the things when I started seeing realize how the size it was, I said this is perfect because that's the one problem that people have with the ground vehicles is that you need larger ships to be able to store these things. And for the longest time, one of the reasons why I and a lot of other people have said the Ranger is the perfect vehicle for Star Citizen is because it can fit inside a Titan, an Avenger Titan, the freaking like Ranger can. And this is probably the same size. So, bingo. It should fit inside of a Rambler, yeah. A Rambler. Which one's the Rambler?
Really experience that sense of speed on one of our ground vehicles.
So the Pulse comes in two
yeah.
flavors. We've got the base version, which comes equipped with a custom laser Gatling on the front. And then you have the LX, which is the dedicated racing version. It loses that front weapon, replaces it with a big intake. You get extra.
The BTV just fits inside the Titan. So then these are two. You can put two of these inside of a Titan.
Thrusters. So out of all the Gravlev bikes, it is one of the most agile there. The reason it's so small and compact is we wanted it to have the most compatibility with all of our other vehicles in game. So by being compact, it allows you to pretty much stuff it into every single other vehicle in existence in the game.
Size-wise, I think it's just over 2.5 meters in length, so it is tiny. To put that into some perspective, it's a tiny bit longer than 2 SCU of cargo, so it is very small.
I'm sure there will be one or two vehicles out there where it doesn't fit in, maybe such as the MPUV, but across the board, it's designed to get in.
It can't fit in the MPUV. Shows fitting 3 inside of them.
A lot of other vehicles. My favorite thing about the Pulse series is just the way we've integrated all the components together into that incredibly tight chassis.
We tried to kind of fuse the idea of a sports bike, but almost, I think they're called like naked bikes. So we wanted it to feel still quite aggressive and quite kind of chunky, almost like a bobber. But we kind of really wanted that sleekness that Mirai and the brand as a whole kind of is known for. One of the, I guess, biggest kind of challenges that our like Alberto and the concept team really had to work on, which then turned our production artists and kind of gave them a few things to scratch their head against, is really fitting all of the ship items and the components into a vehicle of this size.
As we never did anything so small, new problems come along. I decided to take the same approach of a motorbike. We tried to insert most of the components in what will be the fuel tank. And with this approach, we kept the same shape.
Be right back, chat. 1 second. Listen, I'm not telling you should buy this vehicle. What I'm saying is you should buy it in game, at the very least, and see what its value is. Its value is it's built for the fucking first person, for single players, solo players. If you are a solo player, this is your fucking ground vehicle. All right. It should, yeah. All hover vehicles let you adjust the height.
The same main shape of a motorbike. So we have very fluid and soft shapes, palindromal, which means that you can flip it and it looks kind of the same. And then we added the front part just to connect the semiotic of the racing vehicles to this one. We were really tight to the size because it can fit in a container, and that created a huge challenge with how the components move when you actually have to expose them. So that dictated actually the shape we ended up with, and I'm really happy with the final result because you couldn't say probably that inside such a small vehicle there are so many components.
Compared to our other grav-lev ground vehicles, the Pulse it trades durability for speed and agility. So compared to say like the Dragonfly and the Hover Quad, which are relatively tanky, not as good there.
The Nox is more tense and definitely bigger. Mirai tries to simplify things a bit. Less is more. We try to have a different approach compared to most of racing vehicles and communicate speed through mass and not through aerodynamics, although we keep aerodynamics in consideration for this kind of stuff.
In terms of the Nox and the X1, it is right up there in speed and agility. So they all trade different speed attributes in terms of straight line speed, cornering speed, rotational velocities. And the bespoke weapon on the front of the base model is our first laser Gatling in the game, so we're looking forward to see how that performs. So that's the Pulse coming online in
That looks so stupid. I love it.
323, 2 variants of it. Looking forward to seeing all the different scenarios you're going to get it into.
Did I say it's small? It's really, really small. It goes really, really fast.
I'm remembering that meme. Hey, baby. How big's your thing? Small, leave me alone. Hey, baby, how big's your bike? Small, leave me alone.
Okay, that's good.
See the memes coming.
So what did we learn this week? Well, hopefully we were reminded of all the great work the combined Star Citizen and Squadron 42 teams have been working on that make their way to the persistent universe in Alpha 323. That like any and every other feature in Star Citizen, the work doesn't stop here and will continue to iterate and evolve in subsequent releases. And that the
Hey, Celine, it's your motorbike. It is almost exactly your Tunes motorbike.
Mirai Pulse is this teeny tiny hover bike that can fit into all sorts of places and may just be John Griffith's and James Kay's worst nightmares when players try to squeeze them deep down into the distribution centers. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here next week.
Okay, hold on. I wanted to show you a couple things. So this is the classic Dragon Ball hover racer jet bike. The classic Dragon Ball jet bike kind of has similar V's to it. There's an entire game called V Racer that I discovered. Which is literally just a hover bike game. Yeah, I found a couple other ones which were pretty interesting. It's very much in this sort of style for sure. Ooh, even fancier. We got. Oh, damn it! Not Dr. Slump. I wanted. We got classic. Oh, it's not mouth toast. I thought it was mouth toast. But yeah. I think we were talking about this, something specifically with the Mirai Pulse about how small it was. That like in the one of the last captain stables was talking about like being able to fold it up and put it around, sort of thing. You know, people call it a moped. Hey, well, Lisa, I'll give that. I'm going to give that to you ASAP. But what I need to do is I need to apply the upgrade, then send it to you. So. I don't think this is a moped feel, but I do think that CIG could make a hover moped that was like collapsible. If CIG could make a backpack moped, I think people would buy it. Like a ship that collapses into a backpack. That's not something you size as a backpack. You can just deploy it and then, you know, move it around. Hey, well, we'll be there. Have a good night.
You can take away my spaceship.
Spaceship.
You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
Yeah.
But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Yeah, it's gonna be $40. I would be pleasantly surprised if it was cheaper, but I think $30 to $40 is probably the range. Maybe 25.
RD Madeira just resubscribed for 34 months.
Thank you so much, RD Madeira, for that Twitch Prime sub for 34 months. You're a very important pupper. Very impressive pisser of any pedestrian. This is your fault. Return your good night. Shots and cheers in chat. I'm late. I think it's yours. Doubt. A ton of people are going to go ham with those Pyro Station habs, calling it now. Those are the Pyro Station habs. All right, so let me kind of, we talked about this I think on Saturday or on Sunday when we were doing the last bit of the pubathon. I do think that people are completely misunderstanding what Pyro is going to be like. Like, there's a lot of people who are under the impression that the way that Star Citizen plays now, even in 3.23, is how the game will forever play. And I have to burst some bubbles here because it's very different than you realize. Obviously, things can change, but based off of what CIG has done so far and has not changed, Stanton is a unique outlier compared to all of the other systems. Stanton will not likely have, or the Stanton will likely, like, we'll see how this works, but almost certainly CIG is going to reduce things like tier 1 beds to just hospitals. Right now, I think you can do a tier 1 healing at stations. And I don't know if that's a bug or if it's intended, but Pyro is not UE space. So if they remove tier 1 so that you have to go to a hospital on the ground, which I still think they're going to do, that means you're going to only have tier 2 in space, which means only one place in Pyro is going to have tier 1 beds. Stanton is a starter zone. It's going to have very, very friendly. There's lots of landing zones. There's lots of help and aid. Right now, it's a little off because CIG doesn't have the full like NPC support that they want to do. But the idea is that it's lawless enough that new players can, you know, sink their teeth into stuff, but it's not so lawless that it is boring, or that it's hot. It's like dangerous. It's not boring, but it's not dangerous, and that's why it's going to kind of stay. And a lot of the reasons why we have what we have in game right now is because CIG needs us to have gameplay while they build up the systems. But Pyro, for instance, only has one landing zone that we know of called Ruin Station. We don't know if Ruin Station is going to be any different from the stations we have now in-game for Pyro, because we haven't seen it. It's also still like twice the size of Stanton. Pyro is 9 AU, where Stanton is 3. So it's 3 times. And I know a lot of people have realized, oh yeah, they shrank it because originally it was like 20 and then it was 13 and now it's like 9. But that's still 3 times the size of Stanton. I think one of the reasons why we don't have tier 1 beds, or we still have tier 1 beds and stations, likely has to do with the fact that players don't have access to tier 1 beds yet. When the Apollo comes out, which does seem like they're working to get the Apollo out, and the Galaxy will be shortly after that, because the Galaxy's, I think, the one they're doing after the Polaris. So gonna live out of Jackson's Swamp in honor of Jade. Yeah, they have the greatest number of unreleased ships. They have a lot of stuff. Most of them are large, too. Yeah, because that's the other thing that's going to happen is once they get resources system in, they're going to start making your respawns cost regen gel. Like, we'll read this in the monthly report, but they got 10 ships done for engineering. Not engineering, but for resources. They've hooked up resources to 10 ships last month alone. And I know a lot of people are like, well, there's still like 140 ships left. We don't know how many they've already done. This is just the first time they've mentioned that they've finished those ships. And there also are variants. So we don't know if those ships are also variants. Like you know, they did the Connie, and now all the Connies are done. So, yeah, there was a run-through report this week. And what about the regen at a clinic? Cost UEC? Yep. Yep. Yeah. Welcome to American healthcare system, where all of your costs to regen are gonna start to cost money. And you're gonna have to have insurance. I don't think that's coming 4.0. I do think it's gonna come in soon, though. Apollo, Arastra, Galaxy, Orion, Perseus, Polaris, and Zeus. The smallest of those is the Zeus, which is already almost done. So this voice, why would this voice be creepy? This is not your grave. But you are welcome in it. Yay! Can you not talk like that? I don't like this tingly feeling. So if you broke, it's like game over, like 1990s gaming. No, that's the only reason why we don't have that fully in game yet. I think CIG will have some sort of basic system, like you'll have some sort of debt system or something else. There'll be some sort of penalty for not being able to pay. I have a feeling, yeah, probably prison, honestly. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised about that. If you can't pay your regen rates, they'll toss you in prison. I mean, it fits with what the fucking narrative of the game is. Like, debtors. Why does debtors prison surprise you, chat? We have like two companies in the game right now who have full fucking planets have basically legal slavery. How does debtors prison surprise you? Loken, thank you so much for that raid. Welcome everyone from Loken Stream. My name is Paul Berserker01, Batman Shelley, your humble host here at the AstroPub, your space party on Twitch. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We got a good one for you. How y'all doing? Loken. Helldivers tomorrow. Yes. They buffed my glorious senator. Big iron. Apparently it's now meta. The senator is now meta. So I'm like, okay. We're just talking about the hellscape that is the Star Citizen universe and lore. And how the likelihood, it's likely that you're going to have to pay, if you can't pay for regen, you're going to have to, you'll get put in prison to pay off your debt. That doesn't sound for new players, but it suits the lore. New players will almost certainly have life insurance as part of the starter option. So, like, life insurance is going to be a thing in the game. And my guess is it's going to run similar to insurance in other games, or basically it's going to be similar to how Elite has its sort of like you can buy back all your stuff sort of thing. But you just pay a in-game fee every month or so, or every so often, to be able to keep it up. So, yeah, not life insurance, health insurance, but yeah. And here was me thinking Star Citizen was a utopia of sorts. Yeah, because there's legal slavery on 2 of the 4 planets in the game we have right now. Death insurance. If you don't die, we'll do it for you. Oh, we just watched ISC. It's the reason why we're talking a little bit about this. But I'm like, effectively, what I'm trying to tell the chat and tell all you viewers is, I think a lot of people do not understand the direction Star Citizen is going. And that's one of the major reasons why we get so much screeching about the game right now. So you'll hear people who are mad at master modes, who are mad at things, at like the UI of all things, saying it's like, it's a console game, it's Fortnite, they're simplifying the game, it's becoming too easy. And it's like, yes, because they want players to play. But the complicated part of Star Citizen was never going to be the gameplay itself. CIG has always strove for something to the effect of easy to pick up, hard to master. That's always been the kind of mantra that CIG has gone with when it came to designing gameplay for Star Citizen. They want a high level of skill ceiling, and but they want it to be simple for people to pick up. But the reality is that Star Citizen's complexity will come in all of the other things you have to deal with and manage while doing the simple gameplay loops. Things like just atmospheric pressure, having the right amount of life support in your ship is going to matter. Your suits are going to have life support and EVA fuel, which are going to be limited. Oh, geez, what else? Just that alone, but like power, heat management, these are all things that are going to matter. So those things in general are simple, but when you also combine them with taking damage on a ship and having to repair components, managing power resources because you can't power everything at once, repairing ships because every time you fly out, you're going to take wear and tear. You have to repair ships, weapons, armor, everything. There's going to be a lot of downtime from Star Citizen because a lot of it is going to be just maintenance and maintaining. In Elite, if you don't have rebuy money when you die, you lose your ship and parts. We have a saying in the EDA community, never fly without rebuy. I've heard it before. I remember it, the good old days. And I do think that's the case. That's going to be the case with Star Citizen. Is, you're going to have a saying where people will be like, do you have insurance? Don't fly without insurance. If you don't have health insurance, don't be flying because you're going to need him. What else is there going to be? Of course, mass is going to start mattering for fuel consumption. Health. We'll probably start playing a little bit more complex in there. Eve was don't fly what you can't afford to lose. Yeah. Will there be oxygen recyclers, or do we need to keep SCUs of that on hold? I think it depends on the ship. I wouldn't be surprised if some ships do not have oxygen recyclers, and some ships do. Because, for instance, they've said that if you blow out the oxygen or the atmosphere in your ship, you may be able to reclaim it, but it'll be time-consuming and difficult. Worse than Eve, you fly or without a clone, you lose your skill points and thus time. Origin has scoops of some of their models. Would those be dual purpose for O2 restocking? Maybe. I do think that CIG is going to keep it simple with the first release of some of this stuff. So I think you're going to have oxygen that's going to, or life support, which will last a certain amount of time, and eventually you're going to need to restock that oxygen. That stuff, and if you lose the oxygen, it's gone. Or if you lose the oxygen, the atmosphere, it's gone. So you have to go find and restock it. And I do think that because at that point it doesn't really matter if you have O2 recyclers. You just have oxygen. You're not going to have an infinite amount of oxygen on ships. That's the answer. Like, there's just not going to be infinite amounts. So you either need to manufacture it, or purchase it, or find it. So things like go to planets that have atmospheres and refill your atmosphere tanks, that kind of stuff. So Atmo walls like on Galaxy are big features on ships. Exactly. Because like think about the hangar on the Carrack. You're going to need to evacuate the air of the hangar every single time you want to launch that Pisces. So you're going to need to cycle the air out of the landing zone and then open the doors and then fly out. Man, the repair screen's going to need restocking. You're going to need more space for all these restocking options. I think the repair screen on the Moby is going away. I think what CIG will realize is that it's far better to have a screen for repair on like your hangar ASOPs or like a terminal somewhere else rather than your Moby or your, so that like you can do repairs. Because I think CIG wants to physicalize a lot of those things. Because a lot of it is you want to repair. And if you read the monthly reports, they talk specifically about using repairs. Like they're starting the process of figuring out repairs. Because like they're going to have the AI sort of invert salvage features. So... yeah, Valk would have a life support system. So basically, you're going to be flying around without with the Valk. You're going to be flying around without oxygen. You're going to have to evacuate the oxygen in a Valk during any operations. You basically have no air support, life support, except for maybe the crew deck, like or the transport area. Do you think you'll be able to shoot sabotage an atmosphere wall while either shooting at hacking or shooting relay? Almost certainly. You'll be able, if you blow holes in a ship, you're going to sabotage someone's integrity. I mean, I still think they need to go back with the Valkyrie and add a wall between the like with that little balcony. They just need to add a wall. You can add like a window or something like that, but add a wall there so that the crew doesn't get air evacuated every single time they have to cycle. The Cuddy does a great job. All of the Cuddy's living quarters are in a sealed compartment. And the larger Cuddies, yeah, it already has. The Hercules already, the Valkyrie already has that set up with the doors on the thing. I believe it does. Guys have holes for the damage states because it's Cuddy, baby. You'll need to use construction materials to repair your own ship in the hangar. Additionally, you may have to fabricate your own parts rather than buying them or finding a pair especially. Yep. And see, like that's where the nuance comes in. That's where the gameplay comes in. When I hear people say like, oh, well, it's going to be chaos in Pyro, it's like kind of not, but it really depends on what you're doing. Like the thing that's going to make Pyro dangerous isn't the fact that there are lawless there's outlaws running around everywhere, because if you are friends with any of those outlaw companies or those outlaw groups, you'll be fine. Like when we had the little preview in the Pyro preview, and everyone's like, "Oh, we're dying," and people were like, "Welcome to Pyro, ha ha ha, Wild West." That's sort of gonna happen, but you do that in Pyro when Pyro releases, you're gonna piss off the Rough and Ready crew, and the Rough and Ready crew won't let you land at any of their stations. They're just going to shoot you. So, like, there's going to be some protections. It's just not going to be, like, what people hope. And before anyone says, well, why would they care? Go to a gang's territory and start shooting people. Right now. Go to a territory that's run by the Bloods or the Crips or whatever, any kind of gang you can think of, and just start shooting people and see how quickly the gang starts paying attention to you. Yeah, don't do what I just said. That will 100% get you in trouble, but think about that. Like, just think about it for 5 seconds. Is reputation hostility in 3.23? Reputation hostility is in 3.23. I have no idea if it's in the current build. It's committed on the roadmap, but I haven't seen it in the build release. They haven't said it's in the releases as part of the releases. So I don't know if that's true or not. Message declared, do what Paul says verbatim. You'll bring unwanted attention. Yes, 100%. Like, that's the point. Like, people don't realize that what Star Citizen wants to do is semi-realistic. I won't call it 100% realistic, and it's still a game. But CIG is going to kind of draw the lines of where they want gameplay to be gamey and where they want it to be more realistic. Because factions pissing off other factions isn't just like realism, it's also gameplay. So committed means it's like 90% probable to end up in the patch. It's a pretty startup, but yeah. They want you to spend an hour to accomplish the smallest task. What takes you an hour? What smallest task takes you an hour, Tweeter? I'm curious about this because I've heard so many people make this joke. Because box missions take you 20 minutes. With nothing goes wrong, a box mission will take you 20 minutes. That includes travel time, picking up the mission, dropping it off, picking up the box, dropping it off, that kind of stuff. If all these systems are in place, moving from one station to another, it doesn't take you an hour to move from one station to another. Dear God. Even if all these stuff are in place, you'll be fine. Star Citizen isn't going to change to the point where you can't just hop into your ship and then just go where you want to. CIG always wants you to do that. But if you jump into a ship that's not fully fueled or maintained, you're going to suffer the consequences of that. Oh, speaking of since Loken is here, but also I've been meaning to do it. So, long story short, I effectively have a box of Chaos Space Marine like combat patrol. And it's just been sitting in my in my pile of shame for a long time because I just inherited it. And so at one point, things went a little crazy, and I'm like, you know what? I want to see if I can do a little test model. So it came with some other little bits. So I decided to put those together, made it work. And then I decided last night after I did a bunch of work on things to kind of, relax and paint. So I ended up doing this test model for Chaos Space Marine thing that I have. So. Also, EU Snake, I just had they had these. I think they may be from AOS. I don't know what the snake bottom is from, but it's definitely different. So, but yeah, I put that on there. I don't think it was supposed to be. It's definitely not supposed to be on the Marine, but I made it work in terms of that. So. Yeah, no, it looks really good. After I got finished with it, I was like, wow, I'm really proud of it. This was a slap chop. This was my first slap chop sort of technique. And I could see the difference. Because I also layered a lot of it, like the chest right there, this part right here. I layered that. I just need to get a good base now. I gotta figure out a good basing. Sort of kit bash. It's a kit bash in the sense that the snake part isn't part of that kit, but I put it as part of the kit. I think it's from another GW kit. I could be wrong on that one. Yeah, we did. Sure, execute. And I figured after I was painting it, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put together those Chaos Space Marines and, have a nice little small force of Chaos Space Marines, because every I want to run narrative events in my local area and stuff like that, and every good narrative event needs a good bad guy, bad guy. Look at this motherfucker. Tell me this guy isn't an evil son of a bitch. That's true. I could have made them fallen, but I have two more. I have two more snake bottoms too, so I could make more. Thank you, Iris. If I post this, what? Just the creature? Yeah, easy. If it's just that one thing, sure. Are there multiple minis? I'd have to do them over time. I wouldn't be able to do all of them at once. It's a lot of creatures, though. All of them is like 27. All up, but they're mostly big ones. Yeah, this wouldn't be too bad. Basically, I could paint one of those in a day. Off topic, do you notice the new Hornet Mark 1 model in the Twitter teaser? It's an image from a few weeks ago. I didn't know. The patch is not hit yet. There is some evidence that CIG seems to be wanting to put it to wait over the weekend to release, which, thank God. Oh, thank God. There's been a lot of people who were scared, myself included, that CIG might just push, because it did feel like they were pushing for release. And it's like, I get they want to release it because they've got time crunch, but like, I really want 3.23 to be released in a state that is not as bad as 3.22. Was it on Twitter? Okay, let me go back to it. I see the Overdrive Initiative one. Is that what you're talking about? I don't see any comparisons on Twitter. Mark II highlights. Are you serious? No fucking way. No fucking way. Here you go, here you go. Okay, you see this? Yeah, she posted that. To be fair, CIG also reached out to me at one point and told me to stop posting GIFs of my face under Star Citizen. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. The community's the one who does it, not me. No, the update's not coming out. So basically what I was trying to say is the update's not coming out until after this weekend, because CIG did say 100% that they are going to be testing over this weekend. So if they're testing over this weekend, they're locking down recopy. So I don't think we will see it release this weekend, but I do think we will be testing this weekend, and then maybe Monday or Tuesday to release. It's from April 16th. March 22nd. March 28th. March 3rd. April 3rd. Are you talking about the, okay, so this is what they're talking about. This one. So I don't see any difference from what we already have. All of the Mark 1s look the same. I don't see any differences. Like, this is what we already have in game. This isn't like a blend. This is a little different from the original, but it does look like the original. It still looks like the F7C, the F7A. I just don't think we've seen this in a while. But it looks like it's just the same as the F7C. I don't see any differences. Like the scoops are a little bit smaller, but it's the same. I think the winglet's a little bit smaller. It's not that different. Like the intakes here are, it's just, these are just a little bit wider. That's all it is. And something like these winglets look like a little bit shorter than this, but they're mostly the same. It's like small differences, but I don't think that's a lot of that is differences from like new differences. I think those are just differences from what they made when they made the F7A update to the Mark 1 update. Like if you compare these two, they're about the same. We don't have this one, no. The Mark 1 we don't have, and we don't have this one yet. But we have seen the F7A before Mark 1 because it's been in trailers and other things that CIG's released. We have seen this before, just not necessarily in game. I don't see this as a hybrid of this and this. I see that they took this and then they tried to make it more military with this. Yeah, sort of. Like this is the Mark 1. We already have this one in game right now. The Mark 1C is this, and the Mark 1A is slightly different, but not, you know, like you can see like the curve here versus the straight. These winglets are a little bit smaller and the intake's a little bit different. We don't have this in game until 3.23, but we have this now. Is it an F7A in game? I haven't done the Eckhart mission in a while, so I didn't know that. Yeah, this isn't in game, but like, I don't think this is new. It'll be interesting if it's put into game because it should be put in game with 3.23, but we'll see. Didn't one dude have an F7A from like a bar citizen? I actually had one. I had one and I gave it away as part of my partner anniversary, or not partner anniversary, my partner celebration in 2017 or 2018. It was 2017, it was 2017. So it was a while ago. Odd though that the Mark 7, the F7A Mark 2 is based on the C. It's not based on the C. The A was built first, and then they built the C afterwards. This was built a while ago, and we didn't even know that there was going to be a C variant, though obviously all Hornets, all military Hornets get a, or all military ships get a civilian version in Anvil, but this is an evolution of this and not vice versa, but they're almost identical, honestly. It's mostly just the equipment, whereas there is a little bit of key visual changes between the Mark 1 and the Mark 1C. So. Yeah, there's a different tail on the one. It's a little bit different. The winglets and the input and the intakes. CIG screwed up a Twitch raffle years ago. They said F7A instead of F7C and honored it. No, actually, they sold a body kit for the F7C that would turn it into an F7A visually, is what they said. And they sold it for Memorial Day for a specific veterans charity. And they did it once, and a lot of people got pissed off because it was just, they only kind of dealt with Americans, not the international community. So a lot of people got super mad at CIG about that. So they've never done a veterans charity again. But that was the only thing they did for a specific charity, and there was only a handful that were sold. I got one of those. The Ghost is the F7CS, yeah, the Ghost. You can kind of see the Ghost is no different from the other ones. They're effectively just swaps of equipment and color changes. There's really not that much difference. I think the F7C Super Hornet is a little bit different though, yeah. I think the paint has something, yeah. Oh. The Super is bigger and it has a second seat, but I don't think it was they may have sold it eventually by accident, but it wasn't initially an accident. It was intentional. The original sale for raising money for charity was intentional. I remember it well. I bought it because I had a Weekend Warrior package at the time, and I'm like, "Ooh, cool! I could turn my Super Hornet into an F8. I'll do that, or F7A." Do I think they'll sell the Ghost Mark II? I do think that the Tracker and the Ghost will get their own variants with the Mark II eventually. I don't know when though. Couldn't tell you when. There may have been something separate from the skin, but that's really what they talk about when they're talking about the upgrade kit, because it was a upgrade body kit is what they called it. I have a merchantman. I have an original merchantman. Like first version of their merchantman that was $250. All right, I'm gonna be right back, chat. I'm gonna go get something. Master modes. I like it so far. I see where people have issues with it, but I also don't see enough of a difference for it to matter right now for me. But yeah. All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get something to drink because my voice is dying. And yeah. When I come back, we're going to be reading through the monthly report because it's going to take me an hour. Be right back, chat.
Weapons free, y'all. Good news, everyone. I love democracy. I'm Fly. I'm Pilot. Barcelona! Barcelona! Hello, I like money.
Mission complete. Burrito I eat. There you go.
Two words. Distress bacon.
I'm Fly. I'm Pilot.
Everybody and his dog calls himself an outlaw.
To democracy!
Two words. Distress bacon.
Good news, everyone! I'm Fly. I'm Pilot.
Weapons free, y'all.
I love democracy. To democracy!
I'm just an old-fashioned cowboy.
Everybody and his dog calls himself an outlaw.
Two words. Distress bacon.
To democracy! Hello, I like money.
I'm just an old-fashioned cowboy. Mission complete.
Weapons free, y'all.
Burrito I eat. There you go.
Good news, everyone! Barcelona! Barcelona! Good news, everyone! Freedom!
2 words. Distress bacon.
I'm just an old-fashioned cowboy. Mission complete. Burrito I eat.
Democracy!
There you go.
To democracy!
Everybody and his dog calls himself an outlaw.
Drugs.
I'm Fly. I'm Pilot.
Words. Distress bacon.
Hello, I like money.
Everybody and his dog calls himself an outlaw.
Good news, everyone! Barcelona! Barcelona! Freedom! To democracy!
Everybody and his dog calls himself an outlaw.
Hello, I like money.
Words. Distress bacon.
All right. Got everything I needed. Here we go. So, chat, here's how this is going to work. I am going to talk to the camera. And by talking to the camera, I'll be talking to making a video for, you know, capsules. And, yeah, that's what it is. That's how this is going to function. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I can wear or do. I don't have the grace. Good day to you, sirs. Sirs, madams, and non-binary gents. Whatever. Welcome to the capsule. I am your whimsy hopes. Gentlemen, ladies, and those somewhere between.
I am Caffeine Fiend, just had a space baby. Oh look, it's been 9 months. History Fiend is the baby name?
History Fiend is the baby name. Thank you so much for that 9 months of support. 9 months ago, you did the worst thing you can do, which is subscribe to a Twitch streamer. Now, 9 months later, our space baby is born. What shall we name our space baby? It is History Fiend. Oh no, they're after me, lore. Excuse me. I have a sad now. I'm saving this one for next week. For the squadron one. I have a lot of helmets. Rip Kerbals, indeed. Why does it keep saying that? I'm not doing a giveaway. Why did it just not update properly? It didn't update properly. That's why. All right, we'll just do something. We got this. We got this. TIE Interceptor, TIE Interceptor, TIE Bomber, TIE Advancer, TIE Defender, TIE Interceptor. TIE Interceptor every day, baby. Oh, it's not a Kit mask. All right, we'll go with classic. You'll all love this. You all love this. Here we go, chat. Capsule. That's right. Welcome to another Office Hours Capsule. I'm Paul Berserker01 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space top bartender here at Space Texas. TheAstroPub, your space bar at the end of Twitch. So space bar at the end of the universe. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We got a good one for you. This is a small segment of my Office Hours live stream that I do live on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/TheAstroPub, youtube.com/TheAstroPubLive. Love to have you come by and join us live as we look at the lore, news, and more of Star Citizen on a weekly basis. We also do some weird, stupid things and look back at the past a lot of times. We looked at, for instance, the Drake Brutus. So I'm going to leave that there. If you want to know more about the Drake Brutus, let me know in the comments down below. I'll talk to you a little bit about that. It's a ship that was once fully modeled and almost in game. Explain that later. Or watch the VOD so you know more. We are going to be talking about the April monthly report from Star Citizen from 2024. Now, if you've watched these before, you know how this works. But for those of you, if this is your first time looking at one of these, I do a full read through. I'm going to read it from the beginning to the end, word for word, and interject a little bit to add some context for people, for y'all who are new, who may not know 100% what we're talking about. So you can give context of like what's been going around. So without any further ado, let's get started. All right. So, monthly report, April 2024. AI features. Throughout April, AI features put significant effort into Alpha 3.23 release, specifically the Copian creature that will be found across the planetary surfaces and in caves. We are really excited to share this new creature and gameplay possibilities it provides. Copians are the first of the creatures that we have been working on and have posed many challenges, including during their development. We also had the pleasure of bringing all the hard work of other teams into the cohesive whole, AI features team. New features added for the creature include ground alignment tech, which allows them to appear correctly situated when moving across the terrain, and the ability to attack in formation. The attacks themselves require motion warping and melee attack technology to connect with the player. The team also put a lot of effort into ensuring that these functionalities work well across different environments. So, as of this recording, there are still a lot of bugs with the Copian. So it depends on the server performance, just like anything else. But it is, and it will warp around rather than attack you sometimes. It really depends on a lot of different other factors. I'm sure it'll get nailed down eventually, but your mileage may vary as to everything it is. But it is very neat. I'd love to see it when it's working a little bit better in game. AI tech. Last month, AI tech focused on planetary navigation mesh, with the version implemented recently receiving significant improvements. Firstly, they removed generation limits over planetary latitude, which gives stronger coupling with planetary terrain patches, allowing the nav mesh to generate correctly over the planet efficiently. They then improved generation's response at lower frame rates so that movement over planets on non-ideal performance scenarios results in greater and acceptable nav mesh generation times. So, for those of you who don't know, the version that they have in game right now, I believe, they may have updated it, completely doesn't work at the poles. So, in the north and south pole of any planetary body, the closer you get, the more that AI can't navigate around. It just gets confused. So they developed a brand new system that works a little bit better, and that navigation mesh is what they've been working on and what they're talking about here. So because the Copian is in game, I imagine that is also part of it, but it could be that the Copians are only found in certain locations, so it's hard to tell. The multipath code was then optimized to execute faster, which will result in quicker generation paths into, out of, and between usables. The team also enabled future detection code in the movement system component to identify and fix situations where NPCs were standing on usables or out of nav mesh. Another key feature worked on was the Boyd system, used for the new Morok creature. Oh, so it is used for the Morok creature. I was always wondering if we were going to get more Boyds beyond the Morok, if the Morok was separate or not, but I guess it is the Morok. We also saw like rats and stuff like that, so we might see that eventually too. April saw devs improving network synchronization and extending the system to support audio triggers from different states. Several optimizations were also made to the overall code. Significant time was spent verifying multiple parts of the AI system after evaluating the EPTU optic profiles. For example, the team optimized some of the navigation code involved in the destruction of navigation links and navigation volumes when larger outposts stream out. The Pathfinder was also switched from running background jobs to batch jobs. The main pool that serves requests was split into two to better serve multipath and standard path searches. Moving the calculation into batch jobs allows for an increased number of calculations, which provides much faster results and utilizes more CPU time where available. These jobs are lower priority, so they can always provide space for more urgent calculations and continue work across multiple frames. This should result in quicker response times for NPCs at lower FPS. In parallel with supporting the Apollo's Assumption Editor, AI Tech are also working on the new UI design for their UX design for their internal tool. Progress was also made on the spaceship combat behavior, which is planned for release in Alpha 3.23. All NPC fighters now use this behavior, which involves them using limited ballistic ammo rather than infinite rounds as before. Finally, for AI Tech, they implemented point defense cannons that will protect capital ships from incoming missiles. Very cool. That's a great addition. That last one was a big one that people have been waiting for, because there are a couple of ships in Star Citizen that are supposed to have point defense systems, like the Perseus, I believe the Phoenix was supposed to have them as well. So it'd be interesting to see if they actually come in or if they get stripped out, because yeah, I think the 890 was supposed to have some as well. So there's definitely some question of what's going to be in and what's going to be out. But also the fighter behaviors that's been added to 3.23. That's the one that they used scraped player data to kind of figure out how to respond and stuff like that. So there's some cool stuff there. Animation. In April, the animation team worked on various creatures, including 2 predators and a prey animal. 2 predators. What? Hold on. Let me rewind that back. Animation team worked on various creatures, including 2 predators and a prey animal. I thought at first that was just the Copian and the Morok, but I think those are brand new predators and prey animal. I would almost guess that the prey animal is going to be the space cow, the grazer, the Kazi grazer. The 2 predators are a little bit more, maybe the boreal stalker. Maybe? Who knows? They also spent time polishing player movement in space and prone, which will be live in 3.23, and implemented hit reactions when the AI is out in the open. The facial animation team continued to develop facial animations for various game elements. Art characters. In April, the character art team began to work on 2 specialist armors, reworked a utility armor, and supported requests for the character customizer. They also continued working on creatures. Character concept art team continued developing specialized specialist armors and completed handoff sheets. The hair team kicked off new hairstyles for Alpha 4.0 and undertook R&D on fur. I made a joke about that on Twitter, that fursuits are coming out for Star Citizen, and a lot of people got viscerally mad about it. But effectively, what this is telling me is that creatures are a main focus for the animation and art team, which means we're going to get more creatures probably for 4.0. And as I've been telling you about that, I realized what the other creature is. We're definitely getting the Boreal Stalker if they're working on fur. Okay. What I'm about to say is pure speculation. It's absolute hopium. It's no way confirmed. But I've realized what the two creatures they're working on are. The Boreal Stalker, which is a unique creature for Microtech. And the Whip Crab, aka the Pyro Crab. Makes sense. They're going to want to have some creatures for Pyro. They want to still have that unique creature for Stanton. So, yeah, I think that's what they're working on is the Pyro Crab. The Pyro Crab, the Boreal Stalker, and the Cosmic Grazer. Because the Cosmic Grazer is really common, and we've already seen it in game multiple times. So, Space Cow, yeah. That's the three. There might be other new unique ones. Who knows? But Predator. That's the freaking Whip Crab, baby. The Pyro Crab. Art ships. The ship's team progressed with the RSI Zeus, continuing with the beauty and polish stage. Hey, it's in polish. I said that last time as the title, and people said Zeus in Polish is Zeus. It's like Polish and Polish are the same things, yo. The cockpit now gray box complete, which established the standard for the remainder of the ship. The habitation area is receiving the last elements of polish, including resolving the ceiling and personal storage areas. The cargo room ceiling has a pass, and the devs began finalizing the walls. The mess hall is nearing completion as is the central hallway. All right, so I don't think the Zeus is coming for Invictus. This is for April, and they're still talking about Greybox. Greybox is fine, but they have to go through Laud 0 after Greybox, and once they go through Laud 0, then they do a bunch of other stuff. So I don't think we're going to see the Zeus in 3.23. We might see it in 3.23.2, or like another dot patch, or 4.0. Work on the exterior progressed well too, which has now significantly increased the level of detail throughout. The team are currently going through all of the sections to ensure that they have the same level of detail. Ships also started to look at lighting, including a pass for every room for the entire exterior. Following this, they'll be outfitted with proper fixtures. Yeah, they're still not even, they're probably another couple of months away from that though, so. The Anvil Legionnaire is now white box complete. That is 100% going to go on the thumbnail. So if you're watching this later, that's why it's there. It's white box complete, which is good. Though requests were made to improve its usability when boarding hostile vessels. The devs are currently exploring options for collapsible cover built into the boarding tunnel. Thank you. Whoever convinced the team to do cover. We've been talking about that for a long. It got brought up in the captain's table a couple times, and I know multiple people who brought it up because it's like anyone knows who's ever like even sniffed towards tactics in like reality and in video games. A hallway is a death funnel, and that death funnel could go all the way back to the munition storage where there's a bunch of weapons and like explosives without any blocking you. So having some sort of cover is important. So thank you for that one. Whoever did that. Elsewhere, Resource Network was finished for 10 ships, while legacy updates were made to additional ships to support for new section of paints. 10 ships with Resource Network. That means 10 ships for engineering. Resource Network is in engineering are effectively the same idea. They're slightly different in the sense that there's probably more UI work for engineering than there is just Resource Network, but Resource Network is required. So, audio. With the upcoming Alpha 3.23 release, the audio vehicle team completed their first milestone in overhauling the ship audio experience with new thruster sounds, which is rolling out to all new ships. The goal was to restructure our process of designing and implementing ship thruster audio in order to unify the setup of all ships and streamline our pipeline. This ensures that the sound designers will have fewer sounds to design, but every asset will have a greater impact. Our objective was to immerse our pilots in hard-hitting and reactive sounds, resulting in a memorable flight experience, whatever ship they choose to fly. Audio team. that'll be interesting, because one of the aspects of, say, like the Talon, which in lore is supposed to have a scream when it dives. So this doesn't sound like it's making stuff unique, though. This sounds like they're homogenizing it, which I'm okay with as well. But I'd love to see that sort of more unique aspect still come out with things like the Talon and such, but we'll see. They are now using shared and extensive set of game parameters to modulate different layers in a variety of ways. This, paired with a more extensive matrix of generic assets designed to fit manufacturers, classes, and sizes of ships, results in a much more granular and interactive experience for the player while giving every brand a clear sonic identity. This is supported by bespoke sounds made individually for every ship to give them a unique flavor. All right, so this sounds more, now that I've read a little bit further, more like they're going to be doing a library of audio for each manufacturer's thrusters. So, like, for those who don't know, every thruster and engine in the game has a manufacturer. So they probably are going to standardize the sounds of all of those manufacturers' engines and then tweak them a little bit when they go around different ships. So, yeah. Finally, for vehicle audio, the teams introduced a very early state of manufacturer-based soundproofing. With this, each brand will have a unique soundproofing profile heard when the players are in first person, to further improve immersion. The new thrusters and audio features were rolled out with Anvil F7A Hornet Mark II and will be utilized on every new ship going forward, with the team converting older ships periodically. So the F7A Hornet Mark II is definitely something we're going to want to hear about when it comes into 3.23. So, because that's going to be interesting. The audio environment team polished the first ambience pass for distribution centers while continuing to develop new static ambience. Although this new system is still early in development, the team was able to add it into the distribution centers, improving ambience for players in these locations. Alongside this, the team finished their pass on the new features for Alpha 3.23, including wildlife. Wow, that does sound really good. Community team supported the month by celebrating Triggerfish for the announcements of the Misk Raptor. By the way, this is an actual vehicle in-game. No, you won't be able to pay for it. No, you won't be able to drive it. You have to find them, but they do exist. The ultimate weapon in the war against garbage. They also supported the April Fool's Arena Commander mode, which is great, by the way. It was all of the. It was just the WoW blast guns, but they actually did damage. Community support continued for the Overdrive Initiative, including Overdrive Initiative FAQ. Regarding updated releases, the team published the Alpha 3.23 Patch Watch, which highlights the features and improvements that do not appear on the public roadmap. The team also supported the live release of RSI Launcher 2.0 with a full revamp and application of the ultimate goal of serving as a reliable tool for the community. The Bar Citizen World Tour continues in 2024, with the team members joining Fun in Chicago this month. Those looking forward to the future event, a little more detailed schedule for this year's Bar Citizen World Tour will be published soon. Planning for this year's CitizenCon in Manchester, UK on October 19th through 20th is underway. With over 3,700 tickets already claimed, this year's CitizenCon has already shattered previous attendance records. Almost 4,000 tickets. I think 4,000 is the maximum number of tickets they have. So they only have, as of this writing, 300 tickets left. Those might actually be gone before the end of this month, depending on how well 3.23 happens. Oh, chat's asking if I'm 100% about driving it. No, not 100% on that one. But CIG did say that you can't pay for one, so we'll see about that one. Making it officially the largest CitizenCon event ever. Despite still being April, the team is already in deep planning for the layouts and key components for this year's show, and can't wait to see you all in Manchester this October. Community team. In addition, the annual community-created System 7 Racing League, organized by Atmo Esports, is ongoing, with the team continuing their support for the event. Finally, the community team published the weekly This Week in Star Citizen schedules alongside the most recent updates on the upcoming gameplay features in the roadmap roundup. The Arena Commander schedule was also updated to provide better visibility on in-game mode rotation and special modes. Besides these, many other support tasks were done to prepare for Alpha 3.23, 4.0, and beyond. Core gameplay. In April, the core gameplay pillar closed out features and prepared them for release in Alpha 3.23. A significant amount of time was invested into polishing and bug fixing, as well as reviewing feedback from community and improving features where possible. For example, various improvements were made to weapons, including enabling and interrupting and canceling of backpack reloading and ammo repooling via actions like weapon swap, sprint, and melee. Support was also added for hit marker sounds, while recoil patterns are now the same for tap firing and holding the fire button. ADS mouse sensitivity is not scaled down for higher FOVs anymore, and the weapon bandwidth usage was improved. For jump points, the team enabled new fail states if a jump drive detaches or stops functioning, and added tunnel push forces from the edges of the map to help players stay on course. They also implemented the first pass of procedurally generated tunnels from design parameters, including randomness to tunnel shapes for variety. Interesting. That's a weird sort of immediate discussion about jump points, which is weird. For resource network and engineering, the team implemented a throttle that manages power in one SCU segments based on the updated UI design. So that sounds like engineering stuff. Yeah, they said engineering. Additional item power range modifiers were added, which will enable extra behaviors currently used for heat generation. This entered optimization for eventual release. For life support and room system, the team implemented filters that degrade over time, with the life support generators ceasing to work once all are used. Gas propagation now uses accurate positioning within rooms, while atmospheres will equalize differently depending on whether they're in high or low atmosphere environments. Technical requirements for crafting were scoped out with design, and the room system documentation was updated to enable other teams to better implement their work. April saw work on Maelstrom and the radar and scanning feature. Planning continued for transit refactor, and fixes were made for various analytic events not reporting correctly. For Arena Commander, the team began refactoring the spectator mode and player component. They also updated Arena Commander uses how you uses comlink notifications and completed the pass over various game modes and awards for Alpha 3.23. Changes were made to Pirate Swarm's final wave, which now uses 2 Idris capital ships. Gun Rush now supports multiple weapon lists controlled by badges that can be randomized for all enabled weapons. VoIP and mute/unmute were added back into Arena Commander 2. Further development was done on the Contacts Manager, with the team providing code support for cargo hauling missions. Or missions were added back in, where the players can choose between objectives, and general bug fixes was done. OR? What is OR? What is this? Xylo? What is this? Further development was done on the Context Manager, with the team providing code support for cargo hauling missions. Or missions were added back in, where players can choose between objectives and general bug. That doesn't... What is... I'm confused in that one. Reputation-based hostility was further worked on too. Alongside several issues and improvements, a new neutral zone was added. This was a special restricted area that all players have permission to be in. The NPCs ignoring reputation relationships and criminality and reacting neutrally to everyone. However, access will be revoked to any non-justified hostile act, with everyone else seeing the person as hostile and attacking accordingly. To regain access after hostile actions, the offending player will need to exit the zone and wait a set amount of time before entering again. Remaining inside while hostile or entering before being allotted time will completely reset the timer. For cargo, core gameplay progressed with the freight elevators, item banks, and persistent hangars. So that's a lot. I mean, I could just go over this real quickly because this one's a big one. Basically, it's resource management, resource management, resource management. And if it's not resource management, you're looking at Maelstrom, scanning has been mentioned, Arena Commander, contracts manager, and hostile actions with, of course, freight elevators, that kind of thing. In-game branding. Last month, the branding team and vehicle teams worked closely to create brand identities for upcoming and existing vehicles within the game. They also continue to develop an in-house tool for all manufacturers from ships to signage. This will be a versatile and invaluable tool for everyone working on the game and led to a unification of the different brands across the entire genre. Interactables. The Interactables team completed their work on fire extinguisher recharge cabinets, including both high-tech and low-tech versions. These will be placed in hangars for convenience and aid in ship fire gameplay. That's sharp. Industrial cargo containers had their final art passage, including branding and signage, giving them more credibility as container storage. Interstellar Transport Guild. Nice. That's for the cargo missions. Lighting spent time in April polishing distribution centers, before moving to instanced hangars and freight elevators, with the aim of making every interaction an engaging event. Getting light shows for every time we call up our hangar? Yes. Locations. The locations team spent April closing out features for Alpha 3.23. For example, the Sandbox team completed distribution centers, adding the last elements of polish towards shipping. The team are looking forward to players getting their hands on these locations and will be looking for feedback that they can take it forward as distribution centers evolve into the future. You can kind of see for this, that's a large amount. That's more SCU than the C2 can currently carry. I think that's more SCU than the whole C can carry, honestly. Might be less, but the Sandbox team currently finalizing the last few outposts going into Pyro for Alpha 4.0, while supporting other locations teams with their tasks for the upcoming patch release. The Landing Zone team finalized art for the Cargo Initiative and helped out other teams for Alpha 3.23. Mission design. Last month, mission design continued to polish content for Alpha 2.23, including Xenothreat and Vana-related missions. They also made quality of life improvements to missions, including missing persons, and supported content for distribution centers. Did I say something else? Someone's chat's now saying he meant C2. Yeah, I said C2, I thought. The C2 and the whole C. I don't think the whole C has, I don't think the whole C has 800 SCU. Do a quick look. Oh, yeah, it carries 4,000. So, yeah, I'm wrong on that one. Woohoo! Baby, I am wrong on that one. I thought it was like 1,000 or something like that at the most. But, yeah, it's very wrong on that one. So, yeah, that's a lot, but not as much. Mission design. Last month, the mission designs continued to polish content for Alpha 3.23, including Xenothreat and Fauna-related missions. They also made quality of life improvements to missions, including missing persons, and supported content for distribution centers. Work was done on the new contracts manager to ensure it has all the existing functionality alongside improvements. They also made Commodity Update Journal entry a lower priority notification and reassessed what missions notify players when they're available. Further bug fixing was done to the Overdrive Initiative 2. The teams then used the extra time until the cargo updates to add additional high-quality content and further polish the cargo hauling and kill and collect mission. The various shipping companies of Stanton often outsource cargo hauling to freelancers through contracts. These job board missions task the player with picking up the designed cargo shipment at one or more locations and offloading it with more destinations at their core. or at their core, these missions will test players' knowledge of the ship's specs and their ability to weigh the time spent loading and traveling against the payout. They will see the player transport goods back and forth at various jump points, LEOs, Lagrange points. Barn points. Long story on that one. Landing zones, distribution centers. These goods consist of various commodities and vehicles of real value, allowing players to get a rudimentary sense of what it will be like to have a hauling career. Simultaneously, this represents our first step towards implementing the logistical structure of the verse in a tangible, playable form prior to a quanta-controlled mission, quanta-controlled system, mission design team. Narrative. April was a very busy month for the narrative team, who worked hard on preparing Alpha 3.23 patch. This included crafting the new distribution center missions, creature hunting missions, polishing the new UI layouts, and reworking hint text alongside bug fixing. Looking ahead, the team has helped design the upcoming Invictus launch week, making sure everything is ready for players to visit in-game. This was a particular focus for the narrative design team, who looked at the NPCs attending the event. The team also spent the time working on cargo gameplay, providing UI and mission support. Additionally, the narrative team did a lot of planning and pre-production work for Star Citizen 1.0, detailing the scripts and assets that will be needed for its release. This includes looking at legacy work done in games' early releases and analyzing how best to update it to meet current standards. Another batch of lore went up on the website, as well as including a Mirai portfolio, an excellent batch of new Galactopedia entries, and the Whitley's Guide to the Drake Vulture. Online technology. After several sprints, the online services team completed their refactor of the social services backend. This involved porting the services to gRPC, as well as making the updates related to server meshing. Online services also completed work relating to EAC anti-cheat in preparation for enabling the enforcement of sanctions. This is currently going through the first round of QA testing. The team also supported Alpha 3.23 by bug fixing and helping triage performance issues. Over the past month, the Live Tools team helped to ensure compatibility between the Network Operations Center and HEX and the modifications being made on the services side for version 3.23. They're also implementing new modules to assist different types of users. Additionally, the team continued to enhance their internal development tools and provide support and maintenance. R&D. R&D spent April supporting Alpha 3.23. For example, the half-resolution render mode was updated to accompany the new cloud rendering improvements and introduction of ground fog. This mode serves as a good compromise between quality and performance and will be superseded by the temporal render mode, which is still a work in progress. Improvements include the cleaner rendering of silhouettes and foliage, less blurry results from orbit, and better low discrepancy sampling. Due to these improvements, the decision was made to alter the very high spec settings for clouds to use the half-resolution render mode and increase the number of ray marching steps. As a result, players will see more consistent and less noisy cloud rendering, similar to the new photo mode quality setting, at reduced GPU costs compared to the previous very high spec settings. This will hopefully allow for more people to enjoy the new high-fidelity rendering improvements in-game. Additionally, further support was given to the rendering team to roll out the PSO caching and request collection to eliminate PSO cache redundancies and certain shader flags for vertex positions and texture coordinate modification. This is to minimize the number of shaders and PSOs needed to run the game. Support was given to various Vulkan issues that were revealed during PTU playtesting. Longer term, work progressed on temporal render mode. All confidence metrics, which were used to decide whether to keep history data after reprojection, now also refactor in-scene motion and depth. The temporal render mode was also tested against the various temporal upsampling solutions supported by the renderer. It's a lot of stuff about rendering, I guess. Tech animation. The tech animation team continued to generate and implement new head assets to the DNA gene pool, and are not far from completing the initiative for 40 heads for each gender. Many devs are currently dealing with the complications of players and NPCs putting on and taking off clothes live in the engine. Currently dealing with the complication of players and NPCs putting on and taking off clothes live in the engine. NPCs take off clothes? That's new. This has been an ongoing for some time, and with the addition of animation resources into the mix, we are seeing headway both generating the assets for animation and generating usable pipelines to expedite the entire process for everyone involved, tech animation team. Additionally, the team are intrinsic in the creation and implementation of new creatures for both PU and Squadron 42. They've also involved in work towards consumables and the setup of foodstuffs, with the team aiming to guide this initiative and promote time-saving workflows. Lastly, they continue to support Alpha 3.23, ensuring content is integrated, tested, and ready for players. And I get the concept is taking off clothes of NPCs equals looting them, but the way that's read is it sounds like dealing with the complications of players and NPCs putting on and taking off clothes live. So that implies that the NPCs would be taking off clothes of players or other NPCs or their own. So it's like we're almost done here. Tech design. Tech design provided general tech support for Alpha 3.23, including fixing bugs affecting doors and fuel tanks not exploding in the new distribution centers. Okay. All right, I read that wrong. I thought they were talking about doors and fuel tanks exploding. And I'm like, there's exploding doors? And not exploding, meaning like, wait. You have fuel tanks in... fuel tanks and doors in the distribution centers, and it's a problem that they're not exploding? What? But I get what it's saying. It's saying for bugs affecting doors and the bugs affecting fuel tanks that are not exploding in the new distribution centers. For ships, iteration was done on weapon balance and AI following director feedback. For the latter, it was easier for AI behavior. An easier AI behavior was created for use in very easy, and introductory missions. A call to action prompt was added to the elevator panels for multiple ships, and an issue preventing players from getting out of bed in the MISC Freelancer was fixed. Thank you. Oh, that was a bug that affected me in my first launch in 3.23. For Marina Commander, work continued on the Resource Network game mode, including enabling doors without power to be openable, but not closable. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Manual opening, but no longer closing. To prevent players from being trapped. I like it. That's good. I like those. Those are some good options. And by the way, for those who are wondering, when they talk about the Apollo subsumption tool, that's not the Apollo ship. It's a separate tool that they're using for AI. UI. In April, the Montreal-based team focused on cargo feature and the cargo feature and worked closely with the core gameplay on Resource Network mandate. This was included getting the wireframes signed off. They'll begin creating mockups too soon. In the UK, the UI team added the final touches of the new UIs for Visor, Mobiglass, and Maps. They added the final missing features such as the chat window and law widgets too. Updates were also made based on the player feedback, such as reducing the hologram effect on the HUD, thank you, and bringing back differently shaped quantum travel markers, thank you. The team spent time polishing visuals and making the bug fixing as well. It's pretty good. I would say that the markers are still a little bit obnoxious in terms of their size, but I understand why, because they want to make sure that people could see. So I don't know if making us smaller is even better. VFX. Last month, the VFX team focused on the bug fixing for the upcoming patch. This involved playtesting the game to find major issues that needed solving immediately or identifying smaller issues that were safe enough to fix without risking creating other bugs. They also worked closely with graphics and Planet Tech to ensure supporting effects for water were working as expected and not too expensive. They also worked on a variety of vehicles for an upcoming release. So, this was a pretty beefy one. We're going to do a quick summary here. I would say the big ones to take away are new creatures, resource network, ships, 3.23. Those are the 4 big ones that are coming out. And with the ships, the Zeus is doing well, but it's still probably a couple of months out from release, so I wouldn't say it's coming out in Invictus. And they might be giving the Legionnaires some deployable cover. Thank you. That's good. Yeah, other than that, a lot of resources, creatures, and 3.23. Oh yeah, obviously the cargo mode stuff that's being supported. That's still 3.23 though. And some mentions of 4.0 and 1.0. I think like the Sandbox team did a bunch of stuff for 4.0. So yeah, it's I would say it's fairly beefy for a monthly report. It's pretty standard in terms of length. And I'm going to get to chat here in a moment, but before I do want to thank you all for watching us. And if you have enjoyed this, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and hit the bell icon to be notified when these release. And of course, as always, I want to hear about your thoughts on any of this in the comments down below. Is this good signs, bad signs? Are you concerned about things? One person in chat did note that this is the second month in a row they've avoided talking about the Polaris, which I think does point to the fact that we're not going to see the Polaris anytime soon, which makes sense. Resource network takes priority over the Polaris because they need the resource stuff before the Polaris, but who knows? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thank you for joining us. Make sure to join us live at twitch.tv/TheAstroPub, youtube.com/TheAstroPubLive on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Love to have you live here. And now, as I always say, hope to see you someday in the black. All right, chat. You missed the segment. Yeah. Too much juice, not enough Apollo. Oh, I saw a question up here earlier. Question: if humans terraform microtech, then why are there carnivores there that can eat them? Because they genetically engineered the carnivores. I'm not even joking there, Dart Dragon. They created a carnivore that was hardy enough to survive the wilderness, and they didn't perfect it. But they did get close, and they broke out into the wilderness and started to breed and spread everywhere. And why? Like the question becomes like, why would you put carnivores on planets? Because carnivores are part of an ecosystem. And when you terraform a world, you need to build an ecosystem from scratch. So what they're doing is they have what are called like terraforming seed packages. So you would have seeded plants. So every plant, for those who don't know about like kind of how the wilderness works, generally speaking, I think there are 3 or 4 stages of wilderness development. The first stage is called the pioneer stage. Then it's like settlement and then goes on. But like the first stage of any kind of wilderness, kind of like when you're trying to like plant forests and stuff like that, is to bring in things like lichen and moss and basic grasses, and these are the first things that come up. And then the second stages are kind of smaller shrubs, and then you start getting small trees, then larger trees, and eventually you get the giant tree, like the old growth trees. And the same thing happens with species. You want to have species of plants and animals on worlds. You want to have animals that can maintain and manage the environment, but not strip it. So, like, they can keep the growth from getting too crazy. And you want to maintain the animals that are eating the plants, because if they grow over, they'll overeat and destroy the environment. So you need some sort of predator or some sort of culling mechanic. And so it's just a lot easier to make a predator or find a predator and drop it off with your prey animals so that they have a managed kind of situation. And since most predators will stay away from humans, it's not too bad. Grass, shrubs, trees, etc. Yeah. Domesticated sheep are almost a biological weapon against enemies' farmlands. Birds eat the worms. Circle of life. Yeah. So that's a reason why those exist in terraformed worlds. But the real reason why those exist is because CIG doesn't want to make a shit ton of unique animals for every planet. So having most of the worlds be not naturally habitable and not have life means that they can still pull weird life from places like Terra and other naturally habitable worlds, and then just mix them together and throw them on every planet. So every planet's going to have like the same animals with maybe a few like unique versions that they have there. That's it. Yeah, they'll have packaged life. So it works great for not having to build a ton of unique creatures for every planet. But it also gives players a nice baseline to deal with, like, oh yeah, well, I gotta worry about Copians around here. Different colored Diablo enemies. Yeah. It's like Build-A-Bear, only the bears can eat you. What do you think about most of the ship prices jumping two times or more? Well, not all of them are jumping two times. There are some that are going down, but I think it's natural. We're going to see that going around. Honestly, I think what we're going to start seeing is prices are going to start to go down for smaller items and up for larger items. We're at 2.3 tomorrow? No, because CIG has said that they are going to be doing testing in EPTU over the weekend. So they're definitely preparing to release 3.23, but I think they're going to run a little bit more testing over the weekend with the live with full public servers, which is thank you. All I got to say is thank you. Whoever made that decision at CIG is fantastic and wonderful, because that was my big concern, was that CIG was in a rush to release, and they were going to release something that wasn't fully tested, because they only went to live like the full live PTU, like all open all waves PTU, like on Wednesday or Tuesday. It's not enough time, because people will start testing it if they have a chance to over the weekend. So
you can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit.
I don't think it needs a lot.
You can even take away my
definitely
space
needs
lasers.
some bug,
but you can never
hammering
ever take away my space game.
Klepta_ just resubscribed for 11 months, almost a year. Oh boy, can't wait to fistfight a boreal stalker in a cargo hold while in QT in order to lure it into Hurston Tower.
Oh, Klepta, I'm with you on that one. Operation Safe Word is what we're going to call that one. Thank you so much for that. 11 months of support. You're a very important pub, a very impressive pisser of any pedestrian. This is your fault. There's no drinking night. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. By the way, chat. Okay. Hear me out. I'm going to propose to you the de facto presidente of the People's Liberation Movement of Hurston. I'm going to propose to you Operation Doggo. Okay? Operation Doggo is for us to start gathering Copians and leaving them in the central business district. We need to gather and deploy the Copians into the central business district. Are you with me, comrades? Are you with me? Down with the Hurstons? Doggo, not dingo. Yeah, Doggo. D-O-G-O. Yeah, literally eat the rich. Domestic terrorism sounds fun. Operation Cargo Doggo. The WKRP thing. Drop them from dropships like the turkeys. We're not going to drop them. We need to lure them into the tram system and deliver them directly to the business district. We need to leave them in the business district lobby and run away. And we need to do this enough times so that we can keep putting Copians all over the business district, so that every time someone tries to go to the business district, they get attacked by wild animals. Lordville will become Hadley's hope? Goddamn right. Listen. It's about sending a message. Do med guns work on the doggies? No, but I think you can knock them out. What's the message? Renable PvE in stations? No, down with the Hurstons. That's the message. They removed the Doggo KO. Darn you testers! We could probably lure them in with our fleshy, tasty bodies, and then lock them in like the hold of a freelancer, and then have them chase around. I'm trying to think of it. Is there a way to get into the business district more directly than... I think you still have to go through the tram, don't you? Yeah, but did they get into the actual business district? That's the question. You can fly into the actual business district? Wait, can you get it from the TISA? We can get them from Tisa. We'll get them there. As long as we get them through the spaceport. They just have to chase us and not the NPCs around. Yes, I want a Doggo at every trade terminal in the central business district. The CBD. They blocked the entrance with a Pisces. It does, but not if we have a ton of. Not if we unleash a horde of Doggos on them. We just have to collect a ton of Doggos. And then we have to get them into the elevator without killing people. I think what we do is we get them into the hangar. We release them into the hangar. Or we get them in the hangar, and then we get a couple people into we get a couple people into the actual Tisa. Once we get them into Tisa, we release the hounds from the cargo bay and have a bait person who will run into an elevator with them chasing them. And it could also have a bait inside the elevator so that if that person dies, they'll still go after that bait person. And that bait person will then raise the elevator to Tisa port. And then we will have other people in Tisa who then try to wrangle the Doggos and then run towards the blue line and get them towards the blue line. Should I hold a double target? Double med gun in the elevator? Yeah, but you're eventually going to OD. We got to see if we can knock them out. If we can get them in a way that can down them without killing them, but then can revive them, that would be very important. Some may die, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Listen, as El Presidente, this is an important thing. They are immune to downed. Okay. That's a bold statement, GQ. Are they immune to downed, or is there ways we can get around the downed state? Make them downed without CIG realizing they are downed. Like, for instance, can we OD them? Can we hit them with a medical gun until they overdose on drugs? Hey, Victoria, we're planning domestic terrorism in game government. All right, Jerry. I know you're watching this, Jerry. You and the other boys at in the FBI. It's in game, all right, not in reality. Goddamn. Jerry spells his name with a G. Thank you, Paladin. It's Gerry. You can definitely scoop them up alive and awake, especially with the AI right now. Yeah, for sure. Jerry, your name is weird. Hey, Paul. Paul knows how this is going. Finally got an EPTU, and I've been loving it. I'm glad to hear that, David. Too late, already on the list. I've been on that list for a while. Huh, I wonder if Scott's still working at that NSA. He was listening in on my international calls to my GF, now wife. Hi, Scott. Paul Lortrades with Twistats Hadrak. Yeah. The government doesn't want you to know this, but copians are free. You can just take as many as you want. I have 21 copians in my cargo bay right now. Listen, I wouldn't be doing my job properly if I didn't expose giant vulnerabilities in CIG's own designs for fun. So we're all in agreement, right? Operation Doggo is a go. Become ungovernable. Yeah, exactly. That would be my go-to would be gather like 40 of them, 100 of them, and load them into like a Hercules, and then unload them into Tesia. I'm gonna spread the word. I'm here for Operation Doggo. Okay, good. All I can say is that I became a violent radical when one group gameplay mission, one person, I think it was Mason, got a crime stat for no reason, and ruined the whole event because like the game blocked it and was sent to the Glacier. And then after that, the rest of the team gathered together. We got like three Novas and attacked and destroyed all of the gun emplacements on what was it, on Glacier. And from that moment on, I was dedicated to the overthrow of the Hurstons. I wonder how many doggos we can fit into Lore Force 1. New player experience. Now you don't have to worry about the elevators killing you. Yeah, I did. I saw that one, Bellissimo. Least radical rebel. I saw that earlier. I'm gonna have to apply the upgrade to the vehicle that I have, and then I'll send it to you probably tomorrow. Oh, hey, Radar. Freshman year, some guys put 8 sheep in an elevator of a 12-story dorm and hit every floor button. Oh, the chaos. I think our best bet is in multiple small ships carrying 5 to 10. Okay. I have heard that they do move now, so that's a good start. Oh my god, I think that's it. Slamfire, you're a genius. We heard them with pulses. If they can attract to the player on a pulse, then they might be able to chase us on the pulse, and the pulse should be able to protect the player while they're hurting them, like a giant sheepdog. Oh god. That might actually work. It depends on their aggressive state. If they can aggress against ships. I'm here for the revolution. Ugh. The revolution will be streamed. Try with the hover quad or Nox, see if they follow. Which do we need the Castak anthem, Luna? Is that what you're saying? All right, y'all. All rise for the Castak anthem. Let me see if I have the right background. No. This is good enough. If you are watching this recorded after the fact or currently and you're wearing earphones, please remove your earphones. This is going to suck. I could find the right one. Is this a good one? Money. Freedom. God damn. The actual joke is you do that with this. Hold on. Even better. This is probably a better version for our glorious revolution. This is the super theme. The theme for Operation Doggo. Long live the revolution and chaos. Comrade Copians, their sacrifices will not be in vain.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit.
It's over. It's over. You're good.
You can even take away my space lasers. But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Victoria just resubscribed for 46 months. Take my money.
Thank you so much, Victoria, for that. That 46 months. You were very important, but we're very impressive, very pedestrian. This is your fault that we tried drinking night. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Oh, you want that one? We'll do that one too. Hold on. That is.
Drinks all around.
Let's party like it's your birthday. Party like it's your birthday. Come on and put your lips together. Blow the candle out. Party like it's your birthday. Party like it's your birthday. I wanna make you feel real special. Put your name in lights. We are gonna party like it's your birthday. Gonna party like it's your birthday. Gonna party like it's your birthday. Blow the candle out.
Fishy 2951 just got a sub from the_A_Paladin. The_A_Paladin gifted a tier 1 sub to Fishy 2951.
Thank you so much for that sub.
The_A_Paladin just had a space baby.
Thanks so
Let's
much,
see
Matt.
those poor people standing on chairs for too long.
Now we'll give them a reason to stand on chairs. Thank you so much for that 9 months of support there, E-Paladin. You were very important, Pepper, very impressive, Pisser, very deep pedestrian. This is your fault. You're the reason why I drink at night. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. And I return to Operation Doggo. Love it. I'm glad you do. I'm glad you do. All right. So someone wanted this, so here you go. Here's the wonderful thing that is the Helldivers theme in Kazoo. Just because now we're on this kick.
Scenes like these are happening all over the galaxy right now. You could be next. That is, unless you make the most important decision of your life. Prove to your
space suit. You can even take away my space lasers.
No pew-pews.
But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Ash__hole just resubscribed for 48 months.
Thanks so
I
much,
can't
Seth.
believe I subbed for 4 years and all I got was this lousy sub badge.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ashall, for that Twitch Prime sub for 48 months. You're a very important pupper, very impressive pisser, very neat pedestrian. This is your fault that we heard drinking night. Shots and cheers and chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Damn, 4 years. All right, here y'all go.
So that you have the strength and the courage. Join the Helldiver.
I can't wait for the Squadron 42 theme in Kizzy. Yes, I did. I was able to make my goal for it, so I'm good. We're at that weird part of the night. I've been streaming for almost 4 hours, and we've done all of the topics and stuff like that. I will say I am glad that CIG has chosen to give the build a little bit more time in the hands of players to see if we can break more stuff. I think it's a good choice on CIG's part. It was one of those things that a lot of people in the community were saying, please, dear God, give it a little bit more time. And I got some pushback for saying it myself, but it seems like CIG seems to agree, or at least people who have been doing like the gathering agree. So I'm glad, because it's one of those things where I was like, I'm a little concerned that 3.23 is not really recommendable, because one of the biggest problems, one of the biggest fears that I have, as always, is that whenever a patch releases, it's always rough. Whenever CIG releases a new patch, you know, any game really does, it's usually very rough the first couple of days. But I was worried that this might be like unearthing problems that were not 3.18 level, but like enough that it can kind of cut off the new edge. You know what I mean? Like you a lot of new stuff and little good, pretty, shiny stuff. It's like, oh, this is nice, this is interesting, but you know, I can see that new shiny wearing off very quickly if there's enough bugs that become difficult for it to use. And you know, that was my main concern, was that sort of thing, because they've removed a lot of the other gameplay aspects until later into the patch cycle, which is fine. They needed time, but like it needed time. So when they release it, it's just going to be kind of very, you know. Hey, Super. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Hey, Becky. Thank you so much for that raid. Welcome over from Becky's stream. My name is Paul, Berserker01, Batman Shelley, your humble host and space traveler here at the Astropub, your space bar at the end of Twitch. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We got a good one for you. How y'all doing? Oh, we were just talking about this. Yeah, that's what I've been referring to, because a lot of people have been asking about this. But the message of the day includes, we're locking down the PTU account copy to starting early Friday for multiple days. EPTU will stay open. Make sure to copy as soon as you need access to 3.23 EPTU. because that will allow you to get access to EPTU, but I think they want to try to start pulling some of the parts so that they can get it ready for release. That's a good thing. Doing good. How you doing? How you doing, Becky? We're just kind of go through the monthly report, which is very thick in terms of little content. A lot of discussions on, what was it? On the, it's a lot. This is just why. There's a lot of discussions on the engineering resource modes, creatures, lots of creature work, and 3.23 were the three big ones, plus lots of ships and stuff like that. It was a spicy report, yeah. Oh, yeah, and Operation Doggo. We also started planning Operation Doggo. Do you want to know? You want to be read into Operation Doggo, Becky? And chat, Becky's chat. I need a confirmation. We can tell you, but, you know, utmost secrecy. Okay. The Operation Doggo is to strike back at the oppression of the Hurstons by taking Copians from the wild and delivering them to the lobby of the Central Business District. So we're just going to take wild animals and unleash them inside the Central Business District. Well, this is a little bit different because this isn't a station. It's on a. It should be inside of the ground mesh of a planet still. So we're hoping we can get to that point. Do you really want to know how morally corrupt Paul's chat is? Listen, morals are flexible. Ethics aren't. This is unethical. We're going to cover ourselves in meat and lead them to the Hurstons. Yeah, there has been people said you could land a ship like a C8 into the train station, which might be a good individual like delivery method, but this soundtrack? This is Star Citizen soundtrack. Done by mostly Pedro Camacho, but it's I think there's other people there as well. So. You can find people ripped the audio from the files a long time ago. This is old now. This is probably like 6 years old. I'm not saying Operation Doggo is going to be necessarily successful, or that it's going to be, like, even possible. But I do think it's going to be funny as hell. I think it'll be fun and stupid. And those are both things I love to do in video games. And if it works, I want it to be in. I want to make an event in lore. God damn it! I want to force it. Oh, it'd be successful one way or another. Not because it was right, not because it was wrong, but because it was funny. I mean, I'll say it's an act of terrorism against the Hurstons, because my idea is to not unleash it on the poor people of Hurston, just the people in the business district.
Them biddies.
We do this not because it is easy, but because HECC Hurston, that's why. JFK, Operation Doggo, Kindoff.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Think of Algrid. Algrid would think it's funny. Old Man Al would not think it's funny. No, we can't tell Algrid these things. If Algrid finds out that we're going to unleash dogs on the Hurstons, they might have a problem with it. Old Man Al Hurston isn't when you want to do it. Clip it and send it to Algrid. You betrayers. You Judases. Where origin ships made, send them where them there with love with from X. Terra, actually. New Austin, Terra. Her 01 is my mining base. It's just business, you betrayer. The Hurstons will take credit for feeding the poor. What will the Catgirl revolutionaries do with the Cope dogs? Violence. Have you never seen? I was asleep, awoke to weird music, and now this. You're making it too easy. Law-abiding citizens. That's a good one. What is this about stuffing hell dogs into hell pods and dropping them into the city? Mostly correct. Operation Doggo. We're going to take Copians, we're going to distribute them inside the Central Business District of Hurston. As a sign of revolution against the Hurstons. Or domestic terrorism, or because it's funny. I don't know. Any of those. I don't know if they take fall damage though. It might be better if we just get them into a into Pisces, into some Pisces, and then one at a time start delivering the Pisces to them. So. Domestic terrorism. Can we load them into missiles or bombs? Jesus. I mean, maybe. If they don't take fall damage, we could drop them from an A2 somehow. I do think that might actually be the best option. If you can fly a C8 directly into the CBD to load up a bunch of C8s and fly them directly into the CBD and unload them. Where do we find doggos? So if you're in the EPTU, they're going to be around the green areas of Microtech. So you're going to find them mostly around the forests of Microtech. So anywhere you see that's more green, usually around the equator, that's where you'll see them. Turn Copians into a to a symbol of resistance. They should name it Gun after the Copians. That'd be a good one. I think they're also on Hurston, but I have never found them on Hurston. I don't know where you'd find them on Hurston. Thanks for gifting those 10.
Z Doctor 5 just gifted 10 subs.
Thank you for gifting those 10 subs to the Doctor. You're very important, Pepper, very precipice of any pedestrian. This is your fault. That we returned your night. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. I do want to reiterate, because someone's going to take this entirely the wrong way. We're talking about doing stuff in a video game. Okay? It's a video game we are talking about. And this isn't like a in Minecraft. No, this is literally what we're doing. Fetch me their souls. Harper's Point on Microtech has both Marok and Copian. Yeah. FBI is stuck in Discord. They aren't here. You're good. See, but like there is 200 people in this chat, and 600 or 200 and like what's the total? It's not telling me. Anyways, there is like well over 250 people watching right now. And knowing Star Citizen's community, there's probably somebody who's watching this who's in law enforcement in some way, shape, or form. And immediately we're just like, what the fuck are they talking about? When we started talking about domestic terrorism in game. In game. Free speech. Do you think CIG will actually do planet rotations? Not in real time, but maybe change the location of the planet. You talking about orbits? Yeah, I think planets will rotate around the stars. I think they'll orbit. I don't know when, though. That's definitely I wouldn't think 1.0. I think it's a post 1.0 thing. But we'll see. Ooh. Getting EP, so we'll finish up here shortly. But yeah, that's pretty good. I really like the Pulse. The Pulse looks awesome. The size is perfect size for what it needs to do in game. I will also show off the other thing that I was showing off. I was really proud of this one. Focus properly. You like the scales? I think it turned out pretty well. Sort of. It's just a Emperor's Children is a little more pink than purple. But it's kind of my own warband idea because I'm a big fan of purple. like deep purple. I think it turned out okay. That royal purple. Busting out that 40k army at CitizenCon? Nah. So the story about this is that I happened to inherit a box of like Chaos Space Marine starting box. Actually, 2 of them. And then they also had some bits and bobs for like noise marines and stuff like that. The short story of that is somebody who my brother-in-law who was living with me. You know, we got them into 40k, and they had boxes. You know, a box of Chaos Marines. And some other stuff kind of came up, and they ended up leaving and being like, "Nah, I don't really want to do it." So they just kind of got rid of it, and so it's been sitting in my pile of shame forever. Got a Sisters of Battle army that needs an opponent. That's my wife does too. My wife has a Sisters of Battle army. That's one of this, but yeah, that's the idea. This is a just figured, you know what? Hey. You always need a bad guy. And I like doing narrative stuff, so make a good narrative group. I don't know, maybe originally I had an idea for who this was going to be, like what kind of it's like a lieutenant sort of thing that can run this, but I might run this as a Chaos Lord because I think this is very Chaos Lordy. You know? The silence offends the niche, yes. Yeah, that's basically what we've been talking about today. But, I read this silence as the silence, and then I said unexpected Doctor Who crossover. It's just a meme thing where, you know, Slanesh requires constant, apparently Fastcart got in trouble with the fursuit joke. Yeah, with like constant sensations. So there's a line in a couple of lore novels where it says the silence offends Slanesh. That's become a kind of a thing because there's literally a unit in the 40k in the Emperor's Children army called Noise Marines. And they literally use, like, guitars as weapons. They're called sonic blasters. And I love them. So doing bunker missions in the new 3.23 patch, and I couldn't reload any of my weapons. Good sign it's ready to go live. That's pretty typical, but yeah. That's pretty typical with the current patch. We have that problem right now. This is going to sound awful, M. Walker, but as long as the bugs that we have in 3.23 are the same or slightly less than what we have in 3.22, it's fine. They turn your bones to dust and then snort it. Yep. Spent 14 hours doing bounties today. My soul, damn. Did you at least make some money? Good night there, Paladin. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here, too. It's almost 4 hours here. It's past 11 p.m. my time, it's midnight Eastern. Thank you for joining us. I love all of your faces. Thank you for all the raids. Thank you for the subscriptions like that.
You can take away my spaceship.
Spaceship.
You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No pew-pews.
But you can never,
ever
take away my space game.
J_Culvane just resubscribed for 67 months. Here, have this.
Thank you so much for that 67 months of support. You're a very important pupper. Very impressive pisser. Very pedestrian. This is your fault. You're trying to drink and streak and shots and cheers and chat. Y'all shots and cheers. All right. I'm going to bed. I will see you all tomorrow for Helldivers with Loken. We'll be doing some pub and plays Friday. I start at 7 p.m. Eastern. So a little bit earlier, and we'll be going throughout that. And then when that's done, I'll probably move over to watch SCL, though I don't think there's going to be an SCL because 3.23 is not going to be live. So they said that if there's no 3.23 live, then they won't do an SCL. So we may not see an SCL, but I might do some check out 3.23 again to make sure everything's good. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Love your faces. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.